Hello and welcome everyone. This is MrSovr with a mini Java tutorial. The reason why I say that is because I want to kind of explain how packages work in Java. Now, right now, what we have here are two folders called bin and src, which is short for source. Now, this is an example in which if you were to be compiling and programming uh, through the command prompt. Well, usually programming and editing and stuff would be done by an editor, but if you wanted Java to compile through command prompt or through terminal, you can do it through here. So I'm not going to execute this program because it requires external libraries. I don't want to get into that at the moment. Instead, just I'm going to show you what you should type in to have it work for you at home, but it's more of an explanation of how packages work within Java. So, I believe it was in the previous tutorial. I'm not really for sure if I had one or not, but usually in the beginning of a Java file, there's like a package, and then you have this like uh, com dot, I don't know, ros dot functions for in this case. That is what a package is, and it's sort of bit like folders. It's like a directory almost. Well, it is a directory. It's just different how it works. So what I would prefer you to do is to create a folder and have a bin and a source similar to this. Now, the folder that these two folders are in can be named anything. So I would also prefer you to go to command prompt or to terminal, and I want you to have a directory within this folder right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore how the package works. So we go into source, which is where our source files are, not our compiled class files. Again, compiled files are called .class files, and source files are .java files. .java files are where you type in the code. .class files is where the bytecode is for the computer to understand what the application is going to do. It basically talks in machine language, which is a language that we can't really interpret. Anyways, it's like a assembly level language, just about. But it's practically binary. So we have the com folder, which is usually, it's kind of a bit of a standard for packages to have org, com, edu, whatever, sort of a bit like a website, but we have it as a package com, and this can be various things. Like this is more of like a organization thing for packages. So you have the com, org, or edu, or whatever, as the main starting point of your package. And then you have, like, you can have multiple folders in here, like, let's just say, graphics. And this folder can be holding all the graphics source files. Well, the ROS is containing the foundation source files. Now, the only problem is you need to import graphics into the ROS within the Java source file in order to access the source files in here, which we've seen in the Java 2 tutorial that you can have multiple Java files communicating to each other. Now, this is basically how that would work, but you would of course have to import com.ros.graphics.wildcard for importing all the source files in here, while the ROS will hold the main source file, which is core_runner.java. Now, this Java source file holds the main method, holds everything. So when you compile the actual Java into class files, you want to target this Java file, whichever one has the main method. You want to target this one for compiling, and the imports and everything will include the other Java files, and will work out everything just fine, so it turns into one big application, and you can run it off of Java through the command prompt or terminal. So let's look at the bin, which is the compiled information. Of course, the graphics folder won't be there. But we go into the bin, and the exact same thing. Exact same package, exact same order. So when you go into your Java source files, you would want to do like com.ros.functions.coreRunner, and that would import this. Of course, you would do it through when you're doing it into the source files. So this is the class file, and you can call Java through the command prompt or terminal to execute the bytecode, which is this, to actually perform the application you programmed. For example, that hello world with the new revised to Java tutorial 1, it would say hello world and all the other stuff. So let's go into our terminal. And since we have our directory correct, and for Windows people, you are going to have to do something extra to make this work properly. And it's a little confusing to explain, so I prefer the very first part that I'm going to say to look up on your own. It's a little different from XP, Windows 7. I have no freaking idea what it is with Windows 8. But you need to try to get into environment variables, or try to get to the Java path, basically, or the path variable. You can usually find it in, I don't know, control panel. You can try to find it through like advanced settings and stuff like that. When you find it, it may take a while. You might have to look on YouTube or Google it or something. But as soon as you find it, you need to find where javac, or in other words, javac.exe is, basically. So you need to find where the install Java, in this case would be version 7 update 11 folder is, and you need to put that into the path, or else this will not work at all. In other words, Mac people, I believe you are all set, and same as Linux. Well, I don't know about Linux. I've never really used Linux that much, but anyways, moving on. In order to compile our source code, which is right here, let me see if I can, this would basically be it. You would have javac-d bin-source code source src com ros functions corerunner.java. And of course, right here is the directory if you went through these folders, and it would end up to the Java file. And of course, the source here and the source path basically tells you, okay, this is where the source, this is where the actual source file is that contains the main method. And of course, I really have to say that you want the Java file that has the main method, or else it will not work at all. And the .d means directory, and bin means, okay, put all the class files in the bin folder. And of course I would regenerate this directory, but with a class file at the end. Now of course if I run this, it's going to have all these errors saying like, what the heck, where is this file, where is that file? Well, those files I'm trying to import are external libraries, which later on we'll get into. So for now we're just going to ignore this. Okay, so when it actually comes to Java, I'm going to open up some notes because I don't remember stuff. Okay, so for actually executing the code, you would do class path bin semicolon com dot crud, what was it? ros dot functions dot coreRunner. So you want to type in Java dash class path bin, which is telling you, okay, it's in, or telling it that the class file is in the bin folder, and then you have the directory, but instead of doing slashes, you only have dots in between each folder. At the very end, you do not need the dot class, you just have the coreRunner, and it will automatically execute the program, basically. And let me see if I can I think I did something wrong here. I don't know if I can... ROS. Oh, wait a second. Can't do it on the source. I have to do it on the bin. ROS, functions, core runner. I don't know if you have... Well, I could have sworn that... Shouldn't have to do dot class. This is a little intriguing. But I know for sure that by doing this, it would actually execute. I think it's because of the external libraries, because it's doing that. But for now, this is basically how a package works, how to access Java through the command prompt. And I'm sure I probably screwed up on something about not having this able to run, but I'm sure if I figure it out, I will put in the comments. I'll actually comment on here, or do like an annotation, I think they're called. Basically putting text on the video telling, okay, this is how you do it type of thing. But thank you for watching. Make sure to like my video so more people can actually see it and learn this stuff. Share it also on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And also to subscribe. I really, really appreciate those who subscribe. I know I say this a million times, but thank you so much for subscribing. It really helps me out. And also comment if you have any questions or suggestions. I know that a few people have been commenting, which has been helping me a lot, and thank you for those who have. And this is the end of tutorial. I don't know if I would call it 3 or like 2A or something like that, but I guess I'll call it 3. So make sure to subscribe and like, and see you later.